Kia e-Niro first drive.
Hello friends, welcome to news for first ever test drive of new Kia e-Niro.
We are gonna drive around 200 kilometers to test energy consumption during test drive, acceleration and usability of the first fully electric Kia Niro.
The Kia Niro comes in hybrid, plug-in hybrid and full electric version.
The sizing of Kia e-Niro is positioning as compact utility vehicle between C-hatch and compact SUVs. Kia's first electric SUV, the e-Niro, will have a range of 455 km from a single charge. The full electric Niro has some differences from the hybrid Niro in exterior and interior. The e-Niro rides on the new 17-inch aluminum alloy wheels which housing Kia's regenerative braking system. At the back, redesigned rear bumpers feature similar blue trim highlights to those found at the front of the car. The interior is differentiated from the other Niro models with a range of new features and design elements. The cabin is trimmed in a choice of fabric and leather, full leather, including rear leather. There is a smartphone place with wireless charger in option. Kia's designers created a large storage area at the base of central console and kept many of buttons as in usual cars. It's roomy for my 192 cm or 6.3 feet tall, though my knees are too high when I'm sitting in the rear. Now you can see the differences between full electric Niro, hybrid Niro and Nissan Leaf. The e-Niro has one of the biggest boot space among full electric vehicles. There are the charging connectors under the floor for home and outside charging. Kia e-Niro uses for charging the connector named combo charging socket which combines charging AC of slow power and DC of high power. But there are no three-phases connector for AC charging. Marked L2 and L3 on the picture is for one phase only. The new electric motor is lighter, compact and more powerful than it was in Kia Soul EV. Just 5 years ago, the Soul EV had the range around 200 km with air-cooling lithium-ion polymer battery pack with capacity 27 kWh and 90 kW of power. The battery was made by SK Innovation. Kia works with them around 10 years. Though for the full electric Kona, Hyundai using the battery made by LG. There is a SKI battery for Kia Soul EV and technical data. The connector for Type 1 and charging mode charging ports, like in Nissan Leaf, was used for charging in Soul EV 5 years ago. And on this picture you can see the differences between Soul EV and e-Niro by the density, the capacity, the power and so on. For the first time, Kia uses water cooling system for battery pack. Okay, I'm ready to drive now. We have a choice of 4 driving modes: Normal, Sports, Eco and Eco Plus. We differ in energy consumption and power output. I selected the Eco mode. Thanks for the weather. In this area it was nice that day. The e-Niro features a quicker steering rack ratio and stiffer body structure than in the Niro Hybrid. Niro EV is the first model in the Niro family to offer torque vectoring by braking. These changes greatly improve the car's agility and enable a more engaging steering character. Kia has done a lot for passengers and battery protection in e-Niro. The chassis is soaked by body rollers not too much. You can see the 453 kg battery pack getting the level of center of gravity lower. The ground clearance is 155 mm. The curb weight is 1737 kg in long-range version. e-Niro is about 200 kg heavier than hybrid Niro. The suspension McPherson in front and multi-link in the rear with aluminum parts, in green color on the video. As a family car, the e-Niro isn't uncomfortable in the way it rides on that country road. Before the test drive, all cars were charged through the night by 7.2 kW to AC port. It takes about 6 hours for 80% of battery charge. By fast DC 100 kW charging it takes 40 minutes. The road from the airport to hotel is 42 km via motorway, city and twisty roads. I did it 3 times in eco mode, with style of driving as usual with heating and climate on. This picture clearly shows the difference in different driving modes. And here we see the difference in torque. Each mode has its own features and 3 levels of the regenerative braking. Meanwhile, by the paddle behind the steering wheel, you can choose between 5 levels of energy regeneration. The difference between all 5 levels of the regenerative braking is clearly visible on this graph. In the lower one, the maximum level of energy recovery is marked in red. It works when you press and hold the left paddle. When you push on the right paddle, the level of energy the regenerative brakes is decreased. An auto regeneration mode is also available, enabling the vehicle to adjust the level of kinetic energy regeneration by itself depending on traffic conditions. I follow behind Tesla Model S. It's a taxi car here in this area. Now you can see by this video the energy consumption depending about speed. Meantime, when I drove behind the Tesla Model S, I tested the lane following assist. It works well. I was braking the car in front of terminal using all levels of recovery by pressing the left paddle shifter. At the maximum level of deceleration by the regenerative mode, red color, the g-force is 0.23. Then I accelerate again and the overall power consumption increases from 19.1 to 21.3 kWh per 100 km. Inside the e-Niro is not so noisy on motorway. When I left the city, energy consumption fell to 16.8 kWh per 100 km. Recuperation levels are easy to use in city and roads like that in mountains.
Keep right at the second road.
In the mountains, the brake pedal is not needed. You do everything with paddles behind the steering wheel or the accelerator, setting a level of regenerative braking very comfortably. I'm arriving to the final destination now. Okay, we have the range 289 kilometers after 132 kilometers drive. The energy consumption is 15.7 kWh per 100 kilometers. It's so different by range if you to compare with Soul EV we tested 5 years ago. I'm going to tell you the one funny story. Together with my colleagues I drove the car in Frankfurt location, and when the range was 70 km to go, we tried to find by navigation the closer petrol station with EV charging. It directed us to Shell in Frankfurt airport. When we had reached that place we were surprised. There was no any charging station for electric cars there.
You have no electric charger now?
No.
Lady behind the gas machine said to my colleague Michael and me that it's gonna be in future only.
All in all, we are about 1 horsepower, I guess.
Are you nervous now?
No, guys. We have still 53.6 kilometers, no problem.
But now I have about 300 kilometers for range after 130 kilometers driving with energy consumption 15.7 kWh per 100 kilometers. It is really no problem if charging point is not so far. The energy consumption in my Kia e-Niro was lower than it was in Opel Ampera E. After the same distance of driving I had an Opel 22.4 kWh per 100 kilometers. Early in the morning I drove the e-Niro to the airport, that time in normal mode. 2 variants of the Kia e-Niro will be offered. Short range with 39.2 kWh lithium polymer battery pack and long range with 64 kWh lithium polymer battery pack. Last one has a range 455 km and powered with 150 kW electric motor which can produce 204 horsepower. It means the sprint from 0 to 100 takes around 7.8 seconds. In sport mode, the e-Niro was a little quicker than Ampera E. The sprint takes around 8 seconds. When I had reached the airport after night driving with headlight, heating and climate on, the energy consumption was 19.1 kWh per 100 kilometers. It looks very optimistic. Well done, Kia, and waiting for next fully electric car.